Welcome to all of you. Today I'm going to discuss value-added tax sample question, which may be useful for your university exams or any other professional exam. So I will discuss in detail without further ado. So this is the question, value-added tax question. China Design Private Limited (CDL) is a company incorporated in Sri Lanka and engaged in business of home building, garden planning and design for customers based on the request made by few Australian friends of managing director of CDL. The company is now expanding the business for the foreign market with effective from this day, 1st January 2023. So then the first of all we'll look at the requirement. The requirement is required to calculate balance VAT payable or refund due 15 marks and when they should submit the VAT return for the above quarter and the VAT payment due dates and the advice CDL has complied with VAT payment due dates, whether they have paid or otherwise, if there are any delays, what would be the penalty? Maybe they have provided some due dates over here. You need to check whether they have complied with exactly the due date. If it is not, how much would be the penalty? So, advise whether CDL can obtain SVAT registration status as RIP, registered identified purchaser, RIP in the sense, right? So, state two documentation compliance once any person registered as RIP, right? What are the documentation, right? Let's look at the detail. First of all, we have to focus on the first part of the question, part A, calculation of balance, VAT payable or refund due. So, the following information was extracted for the quarter of the company ended 31st March 2023. Revenue details given, right? Then they have local service income and foreign also they have, right? Then here exclusive of VAT, without VAT. VAT එකක් නැතුව තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ, right? So exclusive of VAT, local service income inclusive. Good. ඒ කියන්නේ VAT එකත් එක්ක. Then you have to do the backward calculation and see how much should be the VAT component and the value, right? So interest income and the scrap sales, right? So in scrap sales also we have further notes, right? Here interest income exclusive, scrap sale inclusive. Exclusive in the sense, I hope you are clear on the exclusive and inclusive. Exclusive කියන්නේ, right? Exclusive in the sense just 100, right? Exclusive means 100. Here inclusive in the sense 115. VAT rate එක 15 sorry, VAT rate එක 15 ඒ 15ත් එක්ක it's inclusive 115. The interest income exclusive, but interest income we know which is out of this scope, right? Will not subject to VAT, right? It is also given you to get some complication, right? Then you will realize interest income will not subject to taxable activity, right? It is coming under passive income, right? Which is not a taxable activity of the company, right? So then scrap sale inclusive of VAT. Inclusive of VAT in the sense 150. If the VAT rate is 15%, right? Then it's inclusive in the sense 115. Then you have to take the figure it out what would be the 100, right? So then how to do the calculation we'll discuss, right? And the local service income includes local service income includes 50 million for solar, sale of solar system on request for the generation of solar power energy due to current electricity problem. So here 50 million relating to solar sales, right? Out of this, I will take different color for this, right? Out of this local service income, note this refers to this out of 150, 400 relating to normal sale, local service income, 50 is for solar, right? So solar, as per the VAT law, it is exempt, right? It is exempt. So then we can consider it is not subject to VAT, right? Then you need to be mindful in the exams also whether any unrelated business are included in your fiction. Mainly you have to think twice whether it is exempt or not. Sometimes tea, sale of tea, right? Then the any other unrelated things which are included in the fiction. Fiction එකේ සාමාන්‍ය business එකකට නැතුව වෙන මොකක් හරි තියෙනවා නම් දෙපාරක් හිතන්න මේක extend the liability, right? You have to think twice and get the idea whether it is exempt or not. Then if it is open book exam, India professional exam, you can just quickly refer to the relevant schedules and check whether it is exempt and make sure. But if it is closed book, you have to be mindful on all these things, right? Then the next adjustment is there's another note 1.2. CDL supplies its product to EDL that has not registered for VAT and issue VAT inclusive invoice to them, right? Then here inclusive invoices they making issue in the inclusive invoices that mean 115, right? VAT එකත් එක්ක දාලා දෙන්න. Then the 100 would be the value and the 15 would be the VAT rate. Then the inclusive invoice because other party you have registered but ADL is not registered. Then you will issue inclusive invoice, right? Inclusive invoice. Therefore, you are making the invoices to other party, those who are not registered for VAT, but since you have registered, right? Or register වෙලා තියෙන නිසා, since CDL has registered, they have to issue by including the VAT component, right? They have to issue invoice by including the VAT component. Then they will not declare separately, they will just declare 150, right? The full amount. Then the most of the scenario in practically they will issue the same tax invoice to them as said, right? Because they can't change the system time to time when making the sales, right? One person is registered, one person is not registered. They can't monitor and the systems are not that much of element. So therefore, what they can do is they will issue the same invoice to them as said. But theoretically, you have to issue an inclusive invoice if other party is not registered. But in the question, you have to get this figure written out. Then how much would be the 100 component, how much would be the VAT component, right? How much would be the 100 component, how much would be the VAT component. Scrap sales, yes, again, it's also we have to consider the scrap sales for VAT, right? Then here also 115. We have to take it out. How much will be the 100? How much will be the 50, right? Both are given, right? Then the inclusive amount is given. We have to take it out, right? We'll do that. All right. Then the next. Company has paid following input tax. Company has paid following input tax. You have to always make sure the question you have to read carefully whether they have given here purchase component or the input VAT, right? Input VAT. So purchase value, if it is given purchase value, you have to multiply by 15%, get the VAT paid amount. Here, most of the question you will get paid amount, VAT input VAT amount, right? If you are getting input VAT paid in the sense, right? If you are getting input VAT paid in the sense you have paid to the customers, right? This much of VAT component, right? Therefore, what you have to do is you have to take it figure as it is. Don't multiply. Most of the question students, they do multiply this amount in order to get the VAT component. No, it is not the case, right? You have to carefully read input tax paid. It says input tax paid. That means you have provided exactly the amount, how much tax you can claim as input, right? Here input tax paid at the customers, right? At customs. At custom, 24 million, right? Input tax paid at custom on importation of solar item amounting to 8 million. No other input payment relating to solar. Here, it's also another indication given you to think this is exempt, right? Exempt, right? Because solar, as I said previously, if it is not mainly connected to the business, some other business also included in the question, it appears that you have to think twice, right? Here, also given some further information, you can't claim input on exempt supplies, right? You can't claim input on exempt supply. exempt වලට අදාළව ගත්ත purchase වලට අදාළ ගෙවපු input VAT එක claim කරන්න බෑ. right? input VAT එක claim exempt කරලා. දැන් මේකේ ගානේ directly දීලා තියෙනවා. You have get the exactly the direct figure in order to eliminate that input amount. right? එහෙම නැත්නම් you have to do it proportionately. If the question not says exactly how much to exempt supply, input relating to exempt supply, you have to do the proportionate calculation, right? Here, you will get the exactly figure how much you have to disallow, right? Disregard when you are claiming input, right? We'll do the question and you will realize what it is, right? Again, the accountant of CDL identify there are two tax invoices, right? Amounted to rupees 2.4 million received local purchase which does not contain VAT registration number both parties, right? Then you know there are mainly 10 items, or we can say even 14 items, right? Should mandatory to contain in a document called tax invoice, right? tax invoice එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තියෙන්න ඕන කරුණු ටිකක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් tax VAT registration number කියන එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තියෙනවා. Definitely it should be there in the invoices when they are issuing the invoices to other party also if it is VAT registered. When they are issuing the tax invoice, then there are many criteria, right? Then the basically we can say 10 items should be their name, address, and VAT registration number of the supplier. Name, address, and VAT registration number of the supplier. Name, address, VAT registration number of the purchaser. Tax invoice කියලා තියෙන on a prominent place එක. Tax invoice name, right? Tax invoice name in a prominent place in the invoice, right? Date of the invoice, date. Then the serial number of the invoice number, then the date, and the description, and the quantity, and the value, and the VAT rate, 15%, and the total consideration. Here, name, address, and VAT registration number of the name, address, VAT number of the supplier. Here, name, address, VAT number of the purchaser, right? Then the tax invoice in a prominent place, it should be declared as tax invoice, right? Saying that date, invoice number, all these things, 10 criteria should be there, right? Then if it is not, we can say this is not a valid tax invoice. Then you can't claim the input. Input claim කරන්න බෑ, right? Hope it's clear, right? Then here company has paid 1.5 million and 2 million on 25th February and 31st March respectively, monthly installment for the quarter 31st March 2023, right? Then by looking these dates, they have made the payment delay, right? Delay කළා තමයි ගෙවලා තියෙන්නේ, right? If they have made the payment delay, but anyway you can take the credit, but there would be a penalty. In order that there is a question called whether they have made tax invoice payments on due dates. Yes, not, right? Then in that case, you have to mention the how much would be the penalty. 10% plus further 2% will be imposed, right? Then you have to be mindful on that question as well, right? Right, we'll do the calculation quickly and let's discuss the balance after we have overall idea on the fiction. Now we'll move to the calculation part, right? So here I will take the amount as per the amount given as per the financial statement. How much, right? Hope you can see this as per financial statement and the value of supply. Then the here value of supply and the VAT rate and the VAT component. These are the three things. Amount given as per the financial statement or the as per the information. Can take it. And then, right, right. Here, let's look at first one. As per the question, first one, I will copy paste the details since I have those things, right? It's easy for me to reduce the time, right? Here, local service income, we have altogether 4.5 million. Here, out of this 450 million, sorry, 450 million, right? We have, question says 50 million relating to solar. Then I will take 50 million here because it's relating to solar. Then here only 400, right? The 50 million relating to solar. Then the exclusive of VAT. Exclusive of VAT in the sense, exclusive of VAT in the sense that means 100. VAT taken as right? Then we can take the value of supply as well, same, right? Here, since it is solar, right? This 50 million connected to solar, right? Since this 50 million connected to solar, right? Therefore, we will not consider as a part of taxable supply. Then because it is exempt, right? Exempt 15%, right? The VAT rate, right? Here I will mention here this is as exempt, right? We will not consider anything because solar is exempt, right? Supply and so on, right? Then this part is clear. Hope then you will get mark allocated for this part and this part as well, right? So then second part, the foreign service income exclusive of VAT. Foreign service income, if you have foreign service income, then you have to take it that and you have to think if you have foreign service income exclusive VAT in 100, then the how much should be the VAT component, because you have to carefully look at what is the tax rate for export, right? So we'll consider this as value of supply. For export, you can claim the rate, what is that? 0%, right? Then you will end up with VAT 0 because you can enjoy the 0% subject to that, subject to whether you are getting foreign currency through a bank within 6 months, right? Through a bank within 6 months, right? If you are getting foreign currency to a bank within 6 months, yes, you can enjoy this benefit 0%, right? Assuming that I am getting 0% here, right? Here, local service income inclusive of, right? Inclusive. Inclusive in the sense here, you would have to consider 115, right? Inclusive one here, that inclusive, right? Then here would be 54 million, right? Here 54 million as for this one. Yeah, right? Then if you want to convert this into 100, you just take this one and divide it by 115 multiplied by 100. Then you will get this sum, right? Then what will be the VAT rate? The for local service income, you will get 15%, right? you will end up with the VAT component of this much, right? Output VAT, right? Hope it's clear, right? The what we did was we have to convert this into 100. But if you take these two in total, right? This one and this one, it should be 54 million, right? Hope this is clear, right? We just divide 115 multiplied by 100, make it 100. Because value of supply should be equal to 100, right? Right. Then interest income. Again, you have to show your knowledge. Interest income excluded, right? You have to mention that, otherwise you will not get mark. But again, anyway, here 100 exclusive of that. Anyway, at the end of the right? So then 10 million you will include here, but we will not consider here since it is excluded. Since it is excluded. Right. So there's call. Anyway, we'll continue. Right. So we were discussing interest income. Since it is excluded, we have to do nothing right here. You need to show your knowledge since as mentioned, it is excluded, right? No need to consider for that purpose. Right. The next one is, as per the question, is solar scrap sales, inclusive of VAT, right? Inclusive of VAT here, scrap sale inclusive of VAT කියනකොටම you can understand it is VAT liable, right? It's VAT liable, right? Inclusive of VAT. VAT එකත් එක්ක තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? Scrap sale since it is connected to the business, yes, we have to consider for that because some waste item in the factory. So here given inclusive of VAT. So here then you will take the figure, and what we have to do is we have to make it 100 to get the value of supply. Divide by 115 and multiplied by 100. So then you just take the rate here and you multiply it by, then it should be also equal to the same two figures, right? The same as for the financial statement. Here value 100, here VAT component. We have taken the spread it separately, the given inclusive figure, right? Then this part, hope it's clear to you. All done up to the first point, all detail we have done. Then the second part, when it's come to inputs, the input tax, what we have to do. Output part we have done. Output tax, then we have done. Then if you want, you can total this one. How this much would be a value of supply related into that, and this much would be your VAT component, right? This much would be your VAT component, right? Here, then you can deduct input tax. Right here, you can deduct input tax. Then input tax, what are the details? Here, I just mentioned here, they are not Right. Right. Then we'll go to the picture. First part, input tax paid at the custom. Right? Input tax paid at the custom. We will consider that this much. Again, it's tax එක තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ, right? It's mean equal to 15. Equal to 15. Right? This is equal to 15. Right? If I put here, that is 15, right? Then here this column is whether 100 or 115 or 50, right? The 50. Then no need to do any plus multiplication. Then the sum is done mostly in the exam. They do again multiplication by 50, get the small figure, but it's not the case. They probably look at in the question whether examiner given this one, whether input tax paid, right? If it is paid, right, then the VAT component is given, input tax during the quarter. Then here 8 million relating to solar exempt supply, right? Input tax you can deduct out of this custom, right? Input tax paid at the point of custom, you can deduct, right? Less input tax paid on exempt supplies, right? You can deduct that one because you can't claim the input relating to exempt supply, right? Then the claimable input would be how much? 16, 16, right? 16 million. Then I will take this figure as final figure for input tax relating to imports, right? Paid at the custom. Then the next one, let's look at input tax paid on local purchases. Then here input tax relating to local purchases, right? Also here 15, right? Given this 15 input tax paid how much, right? Then how much is 16 million? 16 million, right? And then, right, we have to look at with the notes given right here in the note says 2.4 million. We don't have valid tax invoice. Without having valid tax invoices, you can't claim, right? Then we have to remove if we don't have valid tax invoices, right? Right? We can't claim the input, right? Then the no valid tax invoices, right? How much? 2.4 million. Then you can claim only payable input on local purchase would be, right? Local purchase would be 13.6 million, right? Claimable input related to in, in local purchases, right? Then total input tax. Here I take it total input tax total input tax 29.6 million, right? Total input tax. Clear, right? And then you have to do, let's look at the question. Any other things, right? Here, finally, we have only payments, right? Other than that, no, right? Adjustments. Then what you have to do is you have to check whether in the question they have given any brought forward things, brought forward inputs. No. No, we don't have any brought forward input. Oh, sorry. Here we have the last one, unabsorbed input tax brought forward from the previous year. Right? Total input render this year, and here unabsorbed input tax brought forward from previous year. The previous year input, if you have extra, you can carry forward to this quarter. Then here we will consider as brought forward, right? This 1.6 million, right? This one also taken, right? this one taken, this one also taken, this adjustment is considered, this adjustment also considered. This one I missed to explain, right? Here, brought forward. If you have any brought forward input, you can claim, right? No worries. Then you have to consider, after considering these adjustments, after that, you have to consider if you have any brought forward unabsorbed input VAT paid, right? You can claim it in this quarter. Then altogether, allowable input tax would be allowable. Allowable input tax would be this much. Allowable input tax would be 31.2 million, right? Here, then again you have to be mindful. Can we consider entire 31 million, or 100% restriction is there, 100% of the limitation. Then the limitation limit to 100% of the output tax, right? When the 100% of the output tax, in the sense, output is how much? Here, this, right? Output. Then you have to compare these two. Then you can't claim more than 67, right? Or the 67 million not whatever වැඩිපුර claim කරන්න බෑ. But we have anyway 31, so it's anyway below to 100% of the output, right? Output 10 million. Anyway, you have 31, right? 67 and 31. Just assume that you have here only 25 million, right? Then you can claim only up to 25 million as input, right? එතනට ගන්න ඕන එහෙනම් 25 million. එහෙනම් මේ set up වෙලා you will do zero payment, right? Here. It's call it as 100% limitation. Even though you have input 31 million, you have to limit it to 100% of the output. May output එකට limit වෙනවා. You can claim only this one, right? Then balance එකක් තියෙනවා. If any balance, you can carry it forward to this balance. What you can do is here we will consider as minus, right? Then any balance you can carry it forward to next quarter. මේ balance එක ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන්. You can bring this one into next quarter, right? Hope this is clear, right? Very clear, right? Then this one only you are claiming. Then there won't be any payment. Here you will consider as minus, right? There won't be any VAT payment, right? There won't be any VAT payment, right? VAT payable, I would say here VAT payable, yeah, output minus input, allowable input, then you will get 0, right? 0, right? Then, right, if you have any payments, you can deduct tax credits, right? You can deduct after that. Here, we'll go to the actual scenario now, right? If we go to actual scenario, here we have output 67, right? Then we have to take the lower of this, meaning minimum amount, this one for this, right? Lower. Yeah, I will take it. Remove the minus here. The minimum amount is deductible. Since it is more than, we have output more than the input, therefore no carried forward amount should be there, right? Because it's anyway higher than the inputs available, right? Then if you want, you can take it 67 somewhere here, and in order to compare, right? Then anyway you can go maximum up to this, right? Maximum up to this, right? Maximum up to this. Likewise, right? Likewise, you will end up with carried forward nothing. Here will be at 0 because 100% of the output Yes, 67 outputs are there, right? You can claim entire input. මොකද 67ක් තියෙනවා. ඔයාට input තියෙන්නේ 31 නම් 31ම claim කරන්න පුළුවන් refund situation එකක් එන්නේ. Right? In order to eliminate the refund situation, IRD, the tax law, VAT law has amended subsequently this with the 100% restriction, right? මේක amend කිරීම refund situation එක මේව කරන්නේ. මොකද හදිසියවත් if I explain it this and again, output එක 25 million තිබිලා here if we have output is 25 million, right? Here if we are claiming 31 millions all input without any 100% restriction, මේ restriction එක නැතුව 31 million if you claim, right, you will end up with refund. VAT payable එකක් නෙමෙයි refund කියන්නේ. For a refund, they have to do massive process to get the refund from the IRD. Then, in order to eliminate, what they did was the 100% restriction was there. You can claim only this 100% restriction. Then you will end up with zero, nothing payable. Clear? Not it's clear, right? Right. We take it back again, right? Actual scenario. The VAT payable 36 million. Then you can do is you can deduct tax credits in simply as we have income tax credit. What are the credits? Right? Monthly payments. Monthly payment. For this quarter, we have 2 months before the final payment, January payment and February month payment. So February month payment, January month payment due on 20th February 2023. February month payment was due on 20th March 2023. Right? However, company has paid on when? Company has paid 25th February and 31st March. Right? 20, that one also I will include here because we have further section in this figure. එකක් දානවා company ගෙවලා තියෙන delay එක. This is the due date, then this is paid date. Right? First due on this date, but company has paid on this date, 31st March 2023. Right? Then anyway, both they have made the payment delay, right? But anyway, you can take the credit, no worries, right? How much they have paid? 1.5 million and 2 million, right? 1.5 million. Here you can take for the 1.5 million here. Okay. After taking those things, you can come up with the balance that payable, right? After that, we don't have anything, right? Balance that payable or refund due would be this much. Balance, right? Or refund due. If you make overpayment, right, they will end up with refund. Here, let's say you have paid here, let's say you have paid 50 million, right? You will end up with refund minus figure, right? Here you have only paid first and second month only 1.5 and 2 million, then 32 million payable is there. So this one is due on, then the final last payment for the quarter. This is due on March month payment. March, this is March. If it is March month payment, if you also made, right, March month, then it is due on 20th April 2023, right? Then they have to make it. Let's assume they have made this payment in this quarter, right? If they have made, then you will end up with zero. You can take that one to this, then you will end up with zero payment, right? Zero payment. But the balance at payable, you always finally come up with the amount because final payment is this for VAT. because quarterly return and monthly payment for VAT. Because we have anyway that we have monthly return filing VAT registered person as well, especially RIP registered person or this VAT registered person. Then the normal accountants other than them, all they are submitting return quarterly. Quarterly return filed quarter, they have to make the payment monthly. January month, February 20th. February month payment, March 20th. March month payment, April 20th. Likewise, right? So the monthly payment take around, right? 20th day of the following month, right? Then the January month turnover, based on January month turnover, you have to make it February month turnover, you have to make it March. March month turnover and or combination of all these months, entire quarter calculation you can do, and balance payable you can pay it as March month, right? That's it. This is the entire question. It's not a hard question, right? Very easy one, right? Hope it's understood very well. Then let's look at the balance part, the due dates, right? When you have to submit the return, right? Then the payment anyway discussed and the return also the same, right? Not hard and fast food, right? Return also the same. Very easy. I will explain that. Then let's see. Our part is January, February, and March, right? For this quarter, we discuss payment due date for January month payment. You have to make it February 20th. February 20th. Then the February month payment, you have to make it March 20th. Then the March month payment, you paid it. You have to pay it on April 20th. And the VAT return for this entire quarter, VAT return for entire quarter or no before last day of the following month. VAT return, right? VAT return is due on April 30th. Here 20th payment, 30th return. Here VAT return, right? Here VAT return. Then we have 3 payments, right? During the quarter. The first payment we made February 20th. Second payment March 20th. Third payment April 20th. And finally VAT return you have to make it April 30th, right? That is the due dates and the payment. And make sure you have mentioned properly yes, right? Year as well for in the exams. Otherwise you will not get the full mark, right? So this one is done. Then the payment due dates also done. Return submit due date and the payment due date also done, right? Then the CDL has complied with the due date, first and second installment, right? If not applicable, state the applicable penalty for delay payment, right? They haven't complied with the due dates, right? Because as you aware, we have discussed this in the Excel, right? See, the first due date was April 20th and March 20th, but they have paid these are the due dates, right? Then how much would be the penalty? Then 10% penalty, right? Penalty rate would be 10%. 10% penalty immediately. Further, other delays, further 2%, right? Further 2%. But anyway, they have complied with only within 1 month, right? ඊට වඩා ගිහිල්ලා නැහැ. Further, immediately after the due date, you will charge 10% penalty. Further 1 month delay, further 2%, 2% likewise, it will go up to maximum 100% penalty. Here you will get only 10% penalty, right? Because February 20 ඉඳලා if you take March 20 වෙනකන් ගියාම 10%, March 20 ඉඳලා April 20ට further 2%. April 20 ඉඳලා May 20ට further 2%. Likewise, 2% මේකෙදී එන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද දවස් 5යි delay වෙලා. So then only 10% will be charged, right? Then March 20th was due date, March 31st they have made, right? Then 10% would be the penalty. Then you should be able to mention that. Then the 10% penalty in the sense, here penalty would be this one You have to pay altogether 350 penalty, right? Hope it's clear, right? Penalty would be 10%, right? 10%, 10% penalty on the VAT pay, right? Right. Then the next question, advise whether CDL can obtain RIP, SVAT RIP status, right? In order to get the RIP status, you need to have export or other criteria given in the Gazette notification, right? Here we have, yes, we have export, right? Foreign service income, 200 million, right? Out of 200 million, altogether we have supplies, altogether total supply we have 648 million, right? 648 million value of supply. Out of that, we have only 200, right? Then if you take total supply, value of supply here, you have 648. Then exports, you have only 200. Then there's a percentage. If you get the percentage here, right? Percentage should be 30%, right? Not 50%. In order to get the RIP status, right? It should be more than 50% of the total supply. Or the total supply again, more than 50%, no, more than, right? If I refer to the Gazette notification, right? The SVAT Gazette, then if you go to the SVAT Gazette notification, right? Or a new Gazette notification as a yeah. Right. We have the initial Gazette notification 2015 SVAT simplified VAT, and further they issued further sorry further Gazette in 2016 with the guideline, right? You have to refer this Gazette notification. Right, sorry for that. So, right here, this Gazette notification, if you can see, then the Gazette is specifically says, right, who can register as RIP, right? Any exporter or provider zero rate supply under Section 7 of the VAT Act having the supply exceed 50% of the total supply. Total supply 50% වලට වඩා වැඩි නම් තමයි වාට RIP ගන්න පුළුවන්. In order to register as a RIP SVAT person under this scheme, right? The eligible person to register for SVAT, these are the criteria, right? These are the criteria. We have all to the 7 criteria, right? Then you have to refer this one, right? According to this, they don't have more than 50% export. Therefore, then you have to work toward this one, and hence, then the CDL cannot register as RIP, right? Right? CDL cannot register as RIP since they not more than 50%, right? 50% of export sales, right? You just mentioned that. That's it, right? Then this is the answer for the question E part, right? Last part, the one before last, right? This is, they cannot register, right? They cannot register. Then state to documentation compliance once any person registered. Any person is common fiction, right? Or registered non RIP RIP in the sense rest in peace name registered identified purchaser RIP can purchaser can create a other compliance. Then anyway, they have to issue credit voucher, right? Credit vouchers issue non registered not a issue in credit voucher, right? Issue credit voucher. CV in the sense credit voucher, right? And then issue credit voucher and submit SVAT 6. They had to submit SVAT 6 as well, or the approved credit voucher issue, or you can say approved credit voucher, submit SVAT form 6, right? Then it's also there in the gazette notification. What are the compliance once they register as specific regulation to RISS, right? Then specific regulation to RIP also they have, right? Specific regulation to RIP. You can refer the gazette notification. This simply you just mentioned. Then the approval form 4 and submit as at schedule 6, right? The key things, the guidelines are there. Many things you have to follow. That's it. 2 things it's sufficient, right? The which I explained. Then the issuing credit voucher and approving credit voucher by referring to the form 4, right? It's not required to mention, right? If you mention, that's fine, right? Approve the credit voucher through the system called Ramis, and the submit schedule 6. Schedule 6 also they are in the IRD website. Then the specified format also mentioned in the gazette notification, as well as you can refer that one, right? Here in summarized form, the forms applicable for 4 purposes they have mentioned. Out of these forms, majority forms relating to RIS, minor schedules are relevant to RIP, right? That's how, right? Here, if you can see, out of that, form 2 is relating to RIS, right? If I take it into here, right? Right. Then the out of all this document, it's there in the last page of the gazette. Then the how many things as a RIS supply to Karantina, they were right as RIS. This is for RIS supplier. And this is also supply related supply. Then the form RIS need to upload, right? Then the RIS need to do this one. It's simplified credit voucher, which is obtained from IRD and utilized by the RIP. Then the RIP will approve that one. Then the RIP approval relating to RIP, right? Approval part. My system first say RIP need to approve, right? RIP need to approve it. And then 5, 5A, 5B relating to RIS, right? RIS, right? And the 7 also relating to RIS, right? Supplier need to do this, all these things. And the purchaser will do only the 6th submission, right? The summary form, right? Purchaser will do the 6th, right? Purchaser. So here RIP, here also approve credit voucher, approve, approval part only, RIP will do, registered as a purchaser. Except volume purchase can at the end body right? The supplier need to do issue in the invoice, enter into the system called premise under set form 4 and get the approval done from the RIP and submit the 5A, 5B credit note, debit notes are there, right? And submit as at schedule 7 as well, right? RIP have only two tasks, right? It's easy, right? This is in summary form, entire question I discuss. I hope it's clear to you, right? If you have any question, you can comment or under the video, right? I will respond according to available time availability, right? If any questions are there, you can reach out to me, right? If you want these answers or question, you can email it to me. Email is there in the channel, right? Hope to see you in another video, right? If you want any other video, just comment what you need. I will explain based on my time availability, right? Good luck for everyone. Thank you.